Well, this is a fantastic start. Goodness gracious, I can't even find the button to take this off the screen. I used to well, look, live. This is awesome, guys. This is fantastic. Ricky, fantastic.
Okay, there we go.
Oh my gosh.
At least there was nobody watching.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen. The Triple Play Fantasy Baseball Show. A proud member of Fantasy Points and the Fantasy Points Media Group. D-Benny checking back in with you, joined by my guys, Lil Cheesecake, the Doc, and Marty Party. Fellas, were you finally pumped to have a week of baseball under our belts? Elsie, I know you were crowning the Cubs champs after their first series against the Brewers.
I was calling them champs after their first two games, and then in their third game when they blew it and gave up a win that they should have been able to hold on to. It brought me back down to earth. But when you go out there in the first two games, you take Corbin Burns and you take Brandon Woodruff and you get W's against them. That's not a bad way to start the season.
No, it wasn't. And same for Doc too, because Doc's and Nolan Arenado's stan, and Nolan Arenado's looked like one of the best hitters in baseball. You must just be gushing.
I mean, I would say I would try and tell people, but they don't listen to me. So just more shares for me, and I was enjoying it immensely.
Yes, you were. And even I think Marty was somewhat enjoying the start of the year, not just because it's baseball, but the the Tigers were also kind of looking intriguing to start out the year, and then all their rookies and starting pitchers and everybody else that makes the Detroit Tigers started kind of showing their true colors there.
Yeah, I mean, a really good opening win. Javi Baez getting the walk-off. Spencer Torkelson hit his first Major League Baseball home run today, so that's super exciting. So as a Tigers fan, yeah, we couldn't be happier. And shout out to Nolan Arenado. I have him on almost every team too. He's the number one player in fantasy according to Yahoo 5x5 Roto.
Yeah, he's looking like a young Nolan Arenado there, proving all the doubters wrong and off to a great start. But guys, we're here. We actually, obviously, the baseball season has started, and we're pumped for you guys to be riding with us as we are now moving from off-season mode into an in-season mode. And with us in season, we decided to make a change from years past. Instead of random topics every week with guests throughout the season, we're trying to focus on what you guys need to know. Eric, can you say that?
What you need? No.
Yes, to win your fantasy baseball leagues, I'm talking streamers, waiver wire targets, two-start pitchers, trends to monitor, breaking down the top performers from the previous week, looking at ahead of other teams' schedules, so much more great stuff in here. But of course, it wouldn't be the Triple Play Fantasy Podcast. There's a question and game of the week always coming there. That'll be at the end of the show. So without further ado, guys, why don't we go ahead and get started with the rundown? All right. So we're hitting it off strong. LC approves. And we're going to start our rundown here with the first topic, and that's players from this past week that wowed us. Can you guys answer me who that is on screen? Marty and I figured it out, but can you guys?
I know who it is.
Is that's a major league ball player?
He's a pitcher. Yes.
I know. Me. I'm good at the picture game that we played with Bubba and. Oh my gosh.
He played for the Cubs at one point, Art.
This is gonna bother. I can picture who he is.
Derek Holland.
Oh! I knew it.
We had trouble with it too, Marty.
He's ugly.
Well, he's wowed. And these are some players he's looking at from this past week that wowed us. Starting off with Steven Kwan, who this is before he played in today's game. 667, 750, 933 slash over his first 5 games, 7 walks and 0 strikeouts. I know he struck out today, but going in today, he had no Ks in any major league game since September 26, 2021. That includes all of spring training and all the AAA games after that point. He had 115 pitches without a swing and miss on the season, and it was an MLB record to start a career. You guys like Steven Kwan? Steven Kwan, I made a video yesterday, Kwanzilla, King Kwan. I think Quantum Leap. There's so many great names for him. Great baseball player. Elsie, you like what you've seen from him so far?
I think that one the way his name lends itself to nicknames is really awesome. That was funny. There was Obi-Wan Kenobi. I really liked Obi-Wan Kenobi. That was that was a good one. Quan, I mean, he's good. I'm not 100% sure if he's much more than like, kind of Luis Ariz, or if he has a little bit more pop. If he's going to be able to get you that double-digit home runs. He's starting out super hot, and keep him in your lineup, and he's going to be hitting high up in Cleveland's batting order. But I'm not 100% sure what he's going to be giving you in home runs or steals, but he's going to give you batting average.
Yes, he will, and he's looked really good, like you said, top that lineup. The next guy is a friend here, and that's the Lizard King. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts against Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He had 18 whiffs on 76 pitches, which was a 23.6% swinging strike rate. His velocity was up nearly 2 miles per hour, and he had his curveball usage up to 50% in this past start. Now, Marty, I know you might be talking about him again later. Were you impressed what you saw from his first start here?
I was so happy. As we talked about last week, I only spent $1 on him in my home league. So to get a career high 12 Ks fresh out of the gate, I mean, anyone that's held on to him in Dynasty has got to be super excited. And anyone who's drafted him, for basically free, just like me, is pumped too.
Yeah. And he's one of 3 guys that are very much the talk of the fantasy baseball pitcher realm right now. Is the next guy, Tylor McGill. I also saw Tylor McGill. He had 2 starts since the start of the season, 10.1 innings pitched, 6 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 11 strikeouts against Washington and Philadelphia combined. His last start against Philadelphia, he had 16 whiffs on 76 pitches, 21% swinging strike rate, and his fastball velocity is up 2 ticks also from last year. Also, the spin on his fastball is up. He looks like probably the best, I want to say, turnaround of any pitcher from last year to this year. The velocity, the spin. He looks like an ace, a bona fide ace right now. Doc, do you wish you had some shares of him?
I mean, I think, once again, it's 1 start. We got to stop getting carried away with this. It's very encouraging.
2 starts, Doc.
2 starts. I mean, I'll say this. I wish I wasn't playing against him this week, which I am in an extended matchup. But I want to see it for a longer period of time. I mean, he's thrown 10 innings. We've seen people have really good stretches and even really good years. R.A. Dickey has 1 good year with the Mets. It's encouraging, but I'm not ready to say that after 2 starts.
And then Toby comes in with a bombshell. My guy, Teoscar Hernandez, left today's start with side discomfort. Goodness gracious. Oh, my God.
I have him in the life.
Toby, that hurts. I'll have to try to recover from that and go to somebody that has also been very impressive. Matt Brash, his first major league start, 5.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 Ks versus the Chicago White Sox. Had 11 whiffs on 85 pitches, which is a 12.9% swinging strike rate. Not necessarily incredible, but definitely a little bit better than average. 5 whiffs on his 15 knuckle curves, though. 41% CSW. He's already giftable with the amount that he had. I think I must have seen 30 different people posting his start in gift form against the White Sox. My question to you guys is the 3 pitchers we just went over. We have Jesus Luzardo, Tylor McGill, and Matt Brash. Out of those 3 pitchers, if you could only pick one for the rest of this season, who would you pick? Start with you, Elsie.
I'm going to go with McGill, just because I feel like he might have the longest. It might give the most amount of volume out of the 3. That's my quick answer on that.
Okay. What about you, Marty?
I'll go with Luzardo, but it's actually for the same reason. I think he's going to get the most innings, and I think with his prospect pedigree and everything, I think he's going to be a good bet moving forward, more so than the other 2.
Okay, and Doc?
Yeah, I was going to go Luzardo for that reason. Like the Marlins gave up Starling Marte, who obviously was on an expiring contract, but I think they want to see what they have in Luzardo, and especially when you get 12 Ks on 18 whiffs, 76 pitches, they're going to want to see if he's part of their future plan, because he's going to want to get paid soon if he keeps pitching like this.
So I put a poll out on Twitter right now. It's at 348 votes. Tylor McGill, 42.2% of the vote. Jesus Luzardo, 37.9% of the vote, and then Matt Brash, 19.8% of the vote. So not too far off between Luzardo and McGill, and then a distant third for Brash.
Where are my Brash holes at? You know what I mean? Come on, guys.
I love it.
Come on.
Love it.
If I trusted the Mariners management of how they deal with prospects, it would be a little bit higher.
Oh, Julio Rodriguez is up. Matt Brash is already up.
Mhm.
It looks like they've changed it, kind of turned a new leaf there. Another guy, and Doc wanted to make sure he got his name in here. Jose Ramirez, a 480, 536, 933 slash. This is actually updated from today's games, 6 games, only 2 Ks and 25 at bats, which has been kind of a problem sometimes for Jose Ramirez, but he's been having a great eye at the plate, and he has 3 hits in back-to-back games and has 2 home runs and 9 RBIs over that stretch. Doc, again, you're a Jose Ramirez guy, and he's just doing it yet again in a very bad lineup. Signed an extension with Cleveland. He seems like to be locked into a top 5 roto player for a long time.
He's just so good. Like I've been watching a lot of Guardians games because I took a number 2 in TGFBI over Tatis, which I'm very proud of. But he just has a good eye. Even the hits he's getting, it's slap ones. I mean, he's the reason Senzel and Pham ran into each other because he hit a blooper on a pitch he shouldn't have even swung at. So just hope he keeps this up the entire season. I don't think 400 is too much to ask.
Agreed. Here's somebody that I want to talk about a little bit. Carlos Rodon, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 12 Ks versus the Miami Marlins. He had 24 whiffs on 89 pitches, which is equivalent to a 26.9% swinging strike rate. The fastball velocity was up yet again. It was reaching up to 97 miles per hour on average, nearly up 2 miles per hour from last year. And guys, he set a record for the most amount of whiffs in under 90 pitches. And he just looked absolutely dominant. He looked like, to me, he's a top 5 pitcher in baseball, the way he's pitched from last year to this year. Can you guys argue that? Is he not, at this point right now, if he stays healthy, a top 5 starting pitcher in Major League Baseball?
So we're going to try and think of 5 better than him?
I mean, I guess. I mean, we don't have to sit here and list. I mean,
with the caveat of health, his performance has been top 5 for sure over the past 2 years. And this is just a continuation of what he was doing last year. I think if, with the no injuries turned off, Rodon would have been a first or second round pick this year.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he can go anywhere near top 5 because injuries are a real thing. We've never seen longevity from him. But what I think what you're getting at is that on, an inning by inning basis, if you're going to pick one guy to pitch an inning, could he have the best stuff, like top 5 stuff? It's possible.
Yeah, 13 whiffs on 36 sliders, 10 whiffs on 47 fastballs. I already told you about the record. He also had the first Giant in history to have a 12 strikeout game with under 90 pitches, and it's only happened 17 other times in Major League history. So absolutely just incredible.
It's interesting they had him throw 89 pitches in his debut. Like, you figure they would have kind of eased him in a little bit. We were seeing a lot of pitchers in the 70, 80, low 80 range. Yeah,
the 6th most amount of pitches of anybody thrown over the basically going into Tuesday's games. He had the 6th most amount of pitches thrown in a game. Our friend Albert's checking in here. What did you think of Hunter Green's debut? I thought it was... Go ahead, Elsie.
No, I thought he looked really good. He got a lot of Ks. He didn't give us a lot of innings, but he gave us exactly what we were hoping for from like a first start from him. He looked very good, I thought.
Yeah, I think he looked good. I mean, he was sitting at almost 100 miles per hour on average with his fastball. And compared to what we saw from Nick Lodolo today, he obviously handled his Major League debut a lot better than Nick Lodolo did. But he's somebody that I think if your expectations are like a sub-3 ERA and looking like an ace of a staff, that's not him yet. Maybe in the future, but right now I think fair to say maybe a low to mid 4s ERA, 10 Ks per 9, somebody that's going to have flashes and, not be necessarily too consistent, but I do think Hunter Green is not a bad guy to be rostering right now.
And I was just say real quick, my biggest concern with him is the hard contact. Like, he gives up a lot of hard contact, and he always has. So going into the Reds, the Great American Small Park, that's going to be tough for him. But we got to love, his K percentage.
Wouldn't it be great if the Reds traded him already?
I'm sorry, Reds fans. I'm sorry.
They just keep trading pitchers for prospects.
In the same division, the last guy I want to talk about here in just this opening part of the rundown, and these players, Seiya Suzuki, 400, 525, 1,000 slash over his first 5 games, 3 homers and 9 RBIs, has the same amount of walks as strikeouts, 5 walks and 5 Ks. And notably, he started out the year in the 7th spot. Now he moved up to the 6th hole. Elsie, you've been watching a lot of Cubs games, obviously. You've been seeing him. Is he been more than the hype? Like, is he exceeding your expectations early on?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that I was convinced that he was going to start slowly because people who come to the major leagues from the Asian leagues often start slowly, have trouble with the velocity. I was watching him opening day, Corbin Burns, and he was giving good at bats to Corbin Burns. He seems like he's not he's not fazed by the MLB talent, the MLB speed. And also, I every time I see his name now, I want to go say yeah. But so I mean, I'm working on a nickname. If I had a great singing voice, I just rock that one every time. But yeah, Suzuki he's been everything we hoped for. He looks like one of the best signings of the offseason right now.
He really does. He's just bringing a whole other element to that Chicago White Sox or Cubs lineup there. So very much excited to see him play. Super Saiyan has been absolutely worth everything and then some. Now, time for a new segment here on this show. And this is one Elsie came up with. And this is time for Bring Out Ya Dead. So, Elsie, why don't you tell us how this works?
Bring Out Ya Dead is a segment where we allow you to purge yourself, to exercise the demons of your fantasy season. You can give us the names of the guys who killed you, the guys who might now be dead to you, and we're gonna write these on a piece of paper and burn that piece of paper for you. These people are going to be exercised and in your past. I put it out in the Discord. I put it out on Twitter. We got some great responses to Bring Out Your Dead. So stoked to have this segment where we're interacting with all of you. The first guy, and you'll see how we go through this. The first guy I want to talk about. Am I in charge?
You go ahead, Elsie. You take it.
Okay, I got to figure out where we are. All right, there we go. Chris Bubick. Oh my gosh, two of our buddies, Britton Allen and Oaktown Steve. Oh, Chris Bubick, you have done crimes, sir. You pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave us a 67.5 ERA and a 7.5 WHIP, and you didn't even strike anybody out. Now, Oaktown Steve had a funny story. He went Bubick this year. He loves the KC starters. He didn't want to go Keller because Keller burned him last year. So he went Bubick this year and got this one. I think maybe Oaktown, you should just stay away from Kansas City starters. And our boy Britton, has him starting, and he's going to have to see if Bubick can turn it around versus Detroit this weekend, if he even gets that start after this atrocity. So maybe our boy Britton's going to be eating another bad start from the recently deceased Chris Bubick. Next in our line of Bring Out Ya Dead is a man who is the deceased. I'm not sure. Jared Kelnick. We have had some victims of Jared Kelnick, and we're bringing out the dead. Our victims who called in the name Ballpark Fantasy on Twitter, and our boy Steve Stoughton. Now, what is Kelnick doing? Kelnick, in his first 5 games, 17 plate appearances, has 2 walks and 1 hit. 60% of his at-bats end up in strikeouts. No home runs, no runs, no RBIs. He has 1 stolen base. So, hey, that's, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Today, he's even getting a DNP, probably to get his head right. The reason I call Kelnick the deceased is because if you came in this season and you thought, man, last season was worrying, this is further confirmation of why you were worried about his last season. Otherwise, it is just a slow start. You got to give him some time. A guy with this much talent, if he comes through big for you. But if you feel like you don't want to pull your hair out with Kelnick, I don't blame you. Now we got a couple other guys who really gave the Triple Play family some trouble, including yours truly. But I'm going to call them not dead yet. They're we're trying to throw them on the dead cart, and they're saying, I'm not dead. I swear, I feel happy. I feel happy. And that is Jose Barrios and Yu Darvish. And they committed some crimes. Victims. My boy Sully brought up Jose Barrios, Sully from the Darf League. But Sully is only one of many people who got victimized by Jose Barrios in his opening day start, where he went, didn't even go a full inning, had a 1.08 ERA and a 15 whip in his first start of the season. I know he went tonight, so let's cross our fingers. Yeah, 5 innings, 5 Ks, 3 walks, 3 earned runs, kind of getting back in the swing of things. Definitely not as bad as that first start against Texas, this against the Yankees. I think we can say that Jose Barrios is not dead yet. Yu Darvish, however, has yet to follow up his poor performance against the San Francisco Giants. But he did pitch 6 no-hit innings to start the season against Arizona. So we're going to give you another start. He killed you this week. He's getting another chance to come out the end of this week, because I think it is a 2-start week for him. So let's cross our fingers that you can right his ship like Jose Barrios did today.
And an honorable mention here from Toby, who I want to make sure he gets this one put in, because he's very much right with this one. Alex Kirilloff, who has a .59 batting average, 1 hit and 7 strikeouts, now put on the IL with, I believe, the same wrist injury that he had last year. It was on the same wrist. Could be an early death. I think he could make the bring out your dead list here too.
Oh, it would be tragic.
Are we saying R.I.P. Alex Kirilloff?
I think Art maybe have to make the list too.
Kirilloff, he's on the IL. We got to let him come back. What do you think? I mean, we got to let him prove he's healthy.
He seems kind of dead to me.
Bring out your dead. I'm not dead.
And our buddy Albert says Vlad with a 3-homer game today. Well, he's the opposite of dead. He's alive and thriving. Really doing work right now. Vlad just on another level. Finishing out the rundown here, though. Just a couple things looking ahead. This is the week 3 schedule. So looking from next Sunday on for the rest of the week. Every single team plays at least 6 games, but the teams that play 7 are the Twins, the Mets, the Athletics, the Pirates, the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Nationals, the Giants, the Cubs, the White Sox, and the Guardians. So if I did not say that a team on that list, that means they're playing 6. So keep in mind, we're going to keep you updated every single week with the team schedule, and so you'll know who has the most and who has the least amount of games if you want to pick and choose if you're playing players from those teams. We now get to our most added, and these are players that were added in the most amount of leagues, and this is courtesy of CBS. And I took these on mid-Monday morning because obviously once after Sunday night FAAB runs, these are when most of the transactions you'll see people being added. And you can look right at the top there with, I think is blocking me. Who did I have at 65? Who is the top name on there?
Tylord McGill.
Tylord McGill, 65% roster. He's up 44%. Josh Lowe, 35%. Matt Brash, 29%. David Robertson, 28%. Kyle Wright, 28%. Stephen Kwan, 22%. CJ Abrams, 21%. And Bryson Stott, 20%. Then we go on the flip side, most dropped. And we see some names on this list. Starting off with Michael Conforto, who's been dropped in 14% of leagues. Marty, would you be dropping Michael Conforto if you already had him on a team, or are you holding tight to see when he signs?
10, 12 team leagues, yes. 15 team, I'd be holding on to him for a little bit.
Oh, and Toby mentions Vlad's 3-homer games, the first by a Blue Jay against the Yankees of all time. Wow, that's interesting. First time. So then we also have Blake Triton, who's now obviously no longer the closer in LA. So many people are dropping him. Josh Rojas, Riley Green, Andrew Heaney was dropped in 8% of leagues. I have a feeling that's going to turn around after what he just did in his recent performance. What do you guys think?
It's a little bit of foreshadowing we got.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Robert Suarez, now not the closer in San Diego. Now he was dropped in 7%. Cole Sulcer dropped in 7%, and Carson Kelly dropped in 6% of leagues. So again, this was as of Monday morning. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of changes as we get along here. So some notable injuries also from this past week. We saw elbow inflammation. I can't even see the name at the top because of the recording.
Luke Weaver.
Thank you. Luke Weaver, John Gray to the IL. Lucas Giolito and AJ Pollock are also going on the IL. Hopefully both of them are not missing much time. I heard Giolito may only miss 1 or 2 starts, and Pollock expected to be on there for the minimal as well.
Pollock's good. This is one of many IL trips for Pollock. Let's be real. Come on.
I have Blake Snell going on the IL. I know he technically hasn't been put on yet, but I was too lazy and forgot to change the graphics. So as of right now, he's not on the IL, but that could very well change by the time this comes out. Luis Patino to the IL for the Rays with an oblique strain, and Danny Jansen to the IL with left side soreness there
David,
too.
Quick question. What? I didn't hear John Gray had a bluster. What is that?
Did I say bluster? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The new Toby Jimenez just left the game with ankle soreness. This is why I like Toby in the chat.
But bluster is like bragging a lot. He's on the IL for being too braggadocious.
You heard his ego's hurt.
I'm too awesome.
He's bragging about that contract.
Goodness gracious. Those people on the podcast are like, what are you talking about? I misspelled blister and put bluster on there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you guys listening to the podcast, hop on YouTube so you can see all of our grammatical errors, please.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Last on the rundown here are MLB transactions and just some notable ones. The prospect for the Rays, Tommy Romero, came up and pitched in Tuesday's game. Did not look great, but he right now was promoted. Orioles option DJ Stewart to AAA. The Giants promoted outfield prospect Heliot Ramos, and he's gotten some starts for the Giants. Is it Ramos or Ramos? I feel like it's Ramos.
It's probably whatever opposite you say.
Yeah. The Red Sox extended pitcher Garrett Wilson for 4 years, $18.75 million. He just pitched 4 innings for the Red Sox. He's a do-it-all guy for them. I love Garrett Whitlock.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be piggybacking off of Rich Hill, at least to start the season. So his fantasy value is going to be there in like the same way of as other followers. Going to get a lot of he's going to sneak a lot of wins on there.
Agreed. Guardians extended outfielder Miles Straw for 5 years, $25 million. Doc, do you like him in the Guardians lineup?
He's actually looked pretty good this year. It's interesting. They gave him 5 year, 25, and they gave Jose Ramirez the same contract plus 100 more million. So lets you know if you're Miles Straw, like that's a good amount of money, but got to probably feel a little slighted.
No, 25 mil is fully guaranteed for him, for somebody that was kind of a borderline major leaguer not too long ago. So, and then the Twins selected contract of pitcher Derek Rodriguez. He pitched today for the Twins in relief. Don't like Derek Rodriguez very much. And the Reds promoted out their pitching prospect Nick Lodolo, who was him and Hunter Green kind of are very much consensus top 2 in that system. Didn't look very good today in his first outing, but he's very much optimistic for great outings as the season goes along here. Let's now get to some streamers. What do you guys say? Let's start with some hitting streamers.
Oh, love that sound effect. So we're going to start with some hitting streamers here, and we got 3 for the week. Now this is coming up. David showed the schedule. So first for me is going to be Connor Joe, and we're using ESPN. He's owned in 23% of leagues. He has a 3-game homestand versus the Phillies and then 3 games at Detroit. So he's finally getting an everyday chance. I think with the addition of the DH and the NL, he's going to have more at-bats, and I think he's going to be aggressive. And what we've seen is he already has a home run this year. He already has a stolen base. He had no stolen bases before. Is he going to be a great rest of season option? We'll have to see, but he's hot right now, and he's played in every game so far. So that's what you're really looking for, is opportunity going forward. So Connor Joe, 6 games, 3 at home. I think that's a good stream. The next is Mr. Tyler Naquin. So he's owned in 3.3% of ESPN leagues. As we alluded to earlier, Nick Senzel and Tommy Pham both day-to-day after their collision. Tommy Pham's actually 0-15 to begin the year, so maybe they just give him some days off to get right mentally. He's going to play 3 games in the great Cincinnati American Small Park, but also 3 in San Diego. So 322 is the right field line in San Diego, and Naquin pulled 45.1% of his balls in 2021. So it's at 40% this year. So if he can hover around that, maybe gets a cheap home run to right field. And if you remember with Naquin last year, he had 6 home runs in 21 games. So he might be one of those guys that's streaky and begins the season hot. And if you can get him a little bit early before the others do, or before he does have that breakout period, I think he's a good streaming option for next week. And the last, let's have a little bit of fun here. It's without Bohm. So he's got enough crap the last couple of days on the internet. So we're going to talk nicely about him. 5.1% rostered in ESPN leagues. Now, as we mentioned with that incident, it's about defense. It's not going to impact his offense. He's actually reached base in 6 of his 7 at-bats. He has 3 doubles and 3 walks. And they have a 3-game set in Colorado, as I mentioned, with Connor Joe. So, look, if they don't trust him in the field, they're probably going to have him DH. And once again, you're not penalized for errors in fantasy, but I think the Phillies are going to want him to play him in road games. So that way he doesn't have to get booed at home if he makes a mistake. So I think they're doing that more of his psyche. He's way too talented and way too young for them to give up on, but it might be best for him to not play in home games, kind of like the Ben Simmons treatment.
Very bold.
Well, I was going to say they gave him a standing ovation the next game.
Yeah, but that, that's short. That's like the, okay, maybe we were a little bit too harsh, but like our message was true. You still suck.
Could be. Well, we're going to go from hitting streamers to now we're going to go to our 2-steppers. Marty's going to lead our 2 starting pitchers here.
Yes, sir. Ooh.
Couldn't find a 2-step sound. Maybe it's a little long. I'll have to pick a different button.
I don't know. I liked it. It got me going. So, yeah, we're going to start with the week 3 2-start pitchers. We're going to start with the must-start. So these are the no-brainer pitchers. So I'm just going to go down the list here. Garrett Cole at Detroit versus the Guardians. Nathan Eovaldi versus Toronto at Tampa Bay. Shane McClanahan at the Cubs, then going over playing Boston. Jose Barrio at Boston, then at Houston. So tough for Barrio, but just like Art, we're going to keep him rolling out there. Shane Bieber, Chicago White Sox, then at New York Yankees. Robbie Ray, Texas, and then the Kansas City Royals. Frankie Montas, Baltimore, Texas. Max Scherzer, San Francisco, then going at Arizona. Aaron Nola at Colorado, then Milwaukee. Corbin Burns, Pitt, and at Philadelphia. And then Clayton Kershaw, Atlanta, at San Diego Padres. And then Logan Webb, lastly, at New York Mets, at Washington. So I'm just going to – one person I do want to talk about here is Clayton Kershaw. Shout out to him. He pitched today 8 perfect innings versus your Twins, D. Mendy. No walks, no hits, 13 strikeouts, 20 swinging strikes among his 80 pitches thrown. So we're going to hear a lot about should they have pulled him, should they not have. I think they should have. This is a Hall of Fame pitcher. They want to win the World Series. So I'm glad they pulled him. But shout out to Kershaw. He might be back. Let's see. Cool. So let's hop to should start. So a little bit smaller of a list here. John Means at Oakland at the Angels. I'm still believing in John Means. Luis Garcia at the Angels, Garcia versus the Angels versus Toronto. Jesus Luzardo, shout out. We all love him here.
Lizard King.
The Lizard King, baby. It was so much fun watching him. Playing the Cardinals, then he's at the Braves. Kyle Hendricks, and I know he had a little bit of a blow up today. We'll get into it, but I still like him versus Tampa Bay, and then Pittsburgh, and then Adam Wainwright. This may change because his start was delayed today because of the weather delay. But at Miami, at Cincinnati, real quick on Kyle Hendricks.
Wait, Marty, I don't want to rain on your parade, but John Means left with forearm tightness today.
No, well,
live podcasting. And
there we go.
Hey, I'm breaking the news just
forearm
like Toby
tightness.
is. Okay.
That's like, ooh.
Left
TJ.
forearm tightness.
Oh no, but yeah. So just real quick on Hendricks, he didn't do well today. I'm not going to go into it, but he looked great against the Brewers. We're going to keep him rolling out here. Okay, questionable to start pitchers coming up for week 3. Rich Hill versus Minnesota at the Rays. Zach Greinke, Minnesota at Seattle. Dylan Bundy at Boston and Chicago. Nick Lodolo at San Diego, and then versus the Cardinals. And then Merrill Kelly, who looked great there for a second. But yeah, at Washington, and then playing the Mets. Let's see. Who do I want to touch base on here? Oh, yeah, Mr. Dylan Bundy. What did I say? He looked pretty good here for his first
two
start.
strikeouts?
Yeah, hey, it doesn't matter. It just matters how ERA looked good. Everything looks solid there. He's only rostered in 3% of leagues. 5 scoreless against the Mariners. He gave up just 1 hit. He only had 1 walk. Obviously some risky matchups here for next week, but gotta love what you saw from him. And then these are my sits. I'm just gonna rifle right through them. So Alexander Wells, Dallas Keuchel, Jimmy Lambert, Tristan McKenzie, Chicago at New York Yankees. I could see McKenzie working his way into the should starts, but I don't like those 2 matchups there. Cole Irving, Taylor McGill. Actually, he should be up there. Josiah Gray, Justin Steele, and then just Bumgarner. I'm passing on him. Same thing with Alex Cobb.
You're passing on Alex Cobb?
I'm passing on Alex Cobb, man. We're just not there yet.
Oh, we might have to make a bet about that. I just want to acknowledge 2 things here first from Toby. Also, Michael Lorenzen's and Paul Blackburn's first outing. I'm not personally excited about either one. I'm not rushing to pick them up. Are you guys excited for either of them?
Nah.
More so Blackburn, but overall neither.
Yeah. And then, it's a day of injuries when Cody Bellinger hits a home run.
True.
Cody Bellinger homering while we're podcasting. If that's not a sign that he needs to listen to our show, I don't know what is. Like it's like they correlate so well together. I do have to say though, Marty, why are you not on an Alex Cobb?
We're not there yet. He's Alex Cobb. Tell me, how about this? I would love to hear, why are you in on Alex Cobb? I think that's an interesting question.
Fantastic question, Marty. I'm glad you asked. Well, I wrote an article that you can check out on Fantrax about him. You can also check out I did a video breakdown on the Triple Play Fantasy YouTube channel about Alex Cobb as well. But fastball velocity, Marty, was sitting at 97. I think he averaged, if I'm not mistaken, he averaged 94 on his 92 on his fastball last year and touched 94, I think 11 times last year. He averaged 97 miles per hour on his fastball. If you take that, he increased the usage of his splitter. And I forgot what his other pitch is called. I'm trying to pull up the tweet I had that outlined what it is.
You're gonna quote yourself, huh?
He has the sinker, the split finger, and the curveball.
David's gonna quote himself and get a bluster and go to the IL.
All right, so in his 10-year career, the fastest pitch ever recorded by Alex Cobb was 95.3 miles per hour last year with the Angels. He threw 4 pitches at over 96 against the San Diego Padres in his first start. He had a slider stuff plus of 105, a fastball stuff plus of 150, curveball stuff plus of 203, and then a changeup stuff plus of 153. I think he had 4 innings and 9 strikeouts, if I'm not mistaken, in his first start
against San Diego.
5 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts.
5 innings, 10 strikeouts, 83 pitches, 14 whiffs on 83 pitches. He had 9 whiffs on his splitter alone, 4 whiffs on his sinker. He's throwing harder and he's throwing his best pitches more often. And that's what they did with Kevin Gausman. Mm-hmm. I think he needs to be in one of those like must-add players. If you just watch him pitch, he looks like a totally different pitcher with that velocity. So I think you're missing out.
I'll have to revisit the 34-year-old who all of a sudden has found 3 ticks in velocity here. Hey, maybe for the next couple starts, it's going to be fine longevity over the whole season. We'll see, but okay. I'm listening. I'll say that.
All right. Well, you're going to miss out on him, Marty, and I'm just going to sit here and I'm trying to give
pod bet.
We have a pod bet about it. We'll see how he does. I think he does good in those 2 starts.
David, I wanted to mention, and I thought this was interesting, as I was watching the game, the Giants announcer said, called his split finger a changeup. He said, some people call it a split finger, but I call it a changeup. So I'm really curious as to how he holds it, that the announcer feels like it can be called a changeup, because we all just, we call it the split finger. We assume that it's going to have the inconsistency of a split finger. So I don't think that is actionable information. I just thought it was interesting that the announcer decided that he thought it was more of a changeup than a split finger.
Yeah, Baseball Savant has it as a split finger. So I think it'd be interesting. Mm-hmm. I would love to hear him come out and say what it is, just so we could set the record. Maybe he has, and I just haven't heard it, but it'll be interesting to watch how he does. Let's go to now pitching streamers. And Doc, we're back to you for that.
Yep. Oh, David with the sound effects. So The first pitching streamer I like is Josh Rogers, Saturday, as of right now, against the Pirates.
If you're wondering why there's no graphics on screen, Doc forgot to make graphics for pitcher streamers.
I'm sorry. It happens to, time to time when you're booking David Tyree for an interview. You can check that out also on our YouTube channel.
Plug.
Josh, there you go. So Josh Rogers in his debut against the Braves, 5.1 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 3 Ks. You look at his last 6 starts in 2021, he went 5 innings, at least 5 of 6 of those, a 3.28 ERA. The Ks won't be there, but he just gets the job done. So if you felt confident starting him against the Braves, I'd probably feel a little more confident against the Pirates. So that's someone that's rostered in, I think, 5% of ESPN leagues. I'd have to double check that. The next is going to be Nestor Cortez. He's probably only available in 10, maybe some 12-team leagues. He's not going to give you a lot of innings, but he's going to give you great strikeouts. And the good news is he's at Baltimore. His last time he went to Baltimore, 6.1 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 11 Ks. The O's strike out a lot. They did move back the fence in left field. And as somebody that lives near Camden, there haven't been a lot of cheers there recently. And so the last one, Mr. Andrew Heaney, 4.1 innings, 5 Ks in his debut against the Twins. Gosh, I love when people just throw shutouts against the Twins. Makes me so happy. He only threw 67 pitches, and I think he's going to up that pitch count a little bit. So I think you feel confident rolling with him. And the thing we know about Heaney is he's a little streaky, so hopefully this is a good hot stretch for him to begin the season with a new team.
Can we add in Aaron Ashby is going to get the start against St. Louis on Sunday? Can we? Thank you. Very, very well done, Milwaukee.
You know what, David? I can't wait to send you this part of the clip Sunday when Aaron Ashby gets bombed and then they put him back in the bullpen.
Toby, why don't you comment? What do you think? Because Toby's the one who put it in the chat. How do you think Aaron Ashby is going to do in his debut? And when he does really well, like me and you both predict, can we just laugh in Doc's face? 3.1 innings of scoreless ball against the I forgot who he just pitched against. I believe it was the Orioles. I think it was the Orioles.
The Orioles. What did he do before that, David? Tell me.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. He got some bad luck there.
Tell the whole side of the story.
Just wait till you see how he does this year. All right. We are now going to move from Eric's pitching streamers to talk a little bit about our fabulous, absolutely fabulous FAAB.
Shut up and take my money.
All right. So just some players just to take note of that might be free agent waiver wire or FAAB pickups here. And there are probably some more, of course, too. But these are just some names that looking ahead to next week. Seth Brown, you could potentially pick up. He's getting a lot of playing time for Oakland. Oscar Mercado has done some work for the Cleveland Guardians. Jose Siri for the Astros. Tyler Naquin for the Reds, who might get some more playing time with the collision between Tommy Pham and Nick Senzel. Johan Duran. If you have not picked up Johan Duran, I don't know what the heck you are doing with yourself. Johan Duran is going to be the closer for the Twins as it looks right now. I think he's going to be the favorite for that spot. I still think he deserves a shot at the rotation, but he's absolutely filthy. And he could be one of the best closing options you could get this season. Also, Brad Hand for the Philadelphia Phillies. These are just some names. Obviously, some of the earlier guys that I showed as far as additions, most added players. If you look at these guys, if any of these are available in your league still, these are guys that should be at the top of your FAAB charts as well. Guys, again, like Stephen Kwan, Kyle Wright, Matt Brash, Josh Lowe, all those types of guys, they're still there. Those are your first priority. But again, there'll be more as the week goes on here. This is only Wednesday, so those are just some names that pop to mind there. And Toby predicts 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, and 6 Ks for Ashby in the win. And then Mercado has 3 bombs already, is the power reel. Are you guys on Oscar Mercado?
Nah, K rate too high.
I think in a 15-team, NFBC league, why not just take the shot on him? But yeah, anything other than that, no.
I do think in a 5 outfielder league, he should be rostered. He might not be on your roster, but I'm probably going to bid on him in the leagues that he's not, because he had a lot of prospect shine just a few years ago. What I was trying to remember, what was the trade? Because he was on St. Louis.
Yeah,
and they traded him.
I'll look it up.
Was Andrew Miller in that?
No, because St. Louis signed Miller as a free agent, I think.
The Indians acquire Oscar Mercado from the Cardinals in exchange for a pair of minor league outfielders, Connor Kupple and Johan Torres.
Oh, I thought Mercado was the main prospect going back in a bigger trade. I was mistaken, but I do remember Mercado was someone who in like 2019 we all thought might be like a speed option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Elsie, I want to stay with you here because as I let me pop this over, we're going to go to another new segment that Elsie came up with. I think very helpful for all of you guys, and that's going to be your trends, your weekly trends. There's a trend that you need to know about. Elsie, take us to our trends.
Go.
Okay, is this working? There we go.
Yeah, it's working.
So, I hope you guys like the font. I thought it was kind of creepy. But the trends this week, this was inspired by Paul Sporer. I did want to look into stolen bases as an opening season trend. Sporer did some research and he looked up caught stealing rate. It is down this year, 67% in the first week. There's more information. There's more facts to go on other than this. I do thank Sporer for doing that research. But the facts on this: 55 stolen bases so far, 27 caught stealing. In the first week of 2021, there were 90 stolen bases, only 19 caught stealing, 83% success rate. So it went down as the season went on. This could be another product of the short ramp up to the season. Base stealers aren't quite dialed in to the process of stealing bases. They aren't quite in I don't know, base stealing shape. I never had thought about that as being something that might be an issue, but they're definitely getting gunned down at a much higher rate this year than they did last year to start the season. Attempts are also down almost 11%, and that's based upon attempts per plate appearance this season. But one of the concerns that a lot of people had was, would the Mets steal with their would they get steals if you decided to take Starling Marte? Would the Mets still steal? The Mets actually have the most stolen base attempts out of any team in the bigs so far in the first week. And the other top stolen base attempt teams are the Royals, Guardians, Angels, and Padres. Another trend that I noticed this first week is the injuries. One of the main injuries you see is an oblique, and we just got news on this show earlier tonight about Teoscar Hernandez and his left side tightness, which is pretty much code for oblique injury. So that add him to Lucas Giolito, Danny Jansen, Yoan Moncada, Josh Rojas, my boy Ben Rortvedt, who has not gotten his shine in New York because of an oblique injury, and others. But when you dive beneath the numbers, the trends show that this actually is a high oblique injury trend. This graph credit to Derek Rhodes, friend of the pod, at DRHOA03. He's a great injury resource, and go to his website. Jag Fantasies. I think jagfantasysports.com is the name of his website. There's an injury tracker on there. He notes that in this graph, there are also 3 that have not yet been added to this graph, which would put it to 13 and then 14 injuries if you add Teoscar, therefore matching the first week high over the last few seasons. So obliques are definitely on the rise, and a lot of that is people assume is being the short ramp up to the season. So the short spring training has definitely had some long tail effects in stolen bases and in injuries so far this season. So those are the trends that I've noticed the first week.
Very nice work there, Cheesecake. There's a very handsome man that commented that said he loves arts charts. And then Toby said arts charts is what the segment should be called. I think that's not
I love that actually.
Arts charts. Arts charts.
We are no longer trends. It's arts charts. All for it. Nice, good call, Toby. Good call. All right. Last segment we're going to get to for questioning game of the week here is our weekend warriors. So, Marty, why don't you tell us what are weekend warriors?
Absolutely. So yes, welcome to the Weekend Warriors segment. My goal is to provide the best streaming options for this weekend. So this upcoming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you are in a head-to-head matchup or any league with daily moves, this is the segment for you. So we're going to start with Brandon Nimmo from the New York Mets. He's batting with a 333 average, a 391 OBP. Tuesday, he hit his first home run off Zach Wheeler. It was a changeup he left over. He nailed it. He's already walked 4 times this season. So, leading off for the Mets team, the Mets are going to be a high-powered offense. I'm loving everything I'm seeing. He has 3 games versus Arizona. The Diamondbacks are absolutely horrible. He's only rostered in 17% in Yahoo leagues. And you look quickly at his StatCast data, 85th percentile in average exit velocity. He's hitting the ball hard. His sprint speed, sneaky, 79th percentile. So he's able to get around. Nimmo's doing a little bit of it all. So absolutely love him there. All right. He's got a lot of love already, but Andrew Heaney really quick. He's going up against the Reds this weekend. The Reds are terrible. It's a depleted roster. The second, so far this year, they have the second lowest OPS in baseball just behind the Diamondbacks. So I love what he did against Minnesota, 4.1 innings, 5 Ks, 0 earned runs, only 19% rostered in Yahoo. So I like him there for this weekend. Next up, Jameson Taillon. So I think everyone's kind of talking about him a little bit. Versus Toronto, he went 5 innings, 6 Ks, gave up 2 earned runs, but he had no walks. And that's something that you really want to see. He's only rostered in 26% of Yahoo leagues. And this weekend, he has a juicy matchup against the Baltimore Orioles on Saturday. They are barely a Major League Baseball team. It's a great matchup for him. Next, Jesus Sanchez. I mean, he's just the king of power, and he's showing it yet again. So far, he's batting .250 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. He has 3 games at Philly. Obviously, Philly has a pretty good team, but he's able to miss out on Aaron Nola, so he doesn't have to go through the gauntlet there. And liking everything that I'm seeing from him. They may sit him in one of the games, so that's a little bit risky. But if you're in a roto league, like a head-to-head categories league, and you need some pop, this will be your guy I'd pick up for the weekend. Next, Joey Bart, the catcher. He's flat. He's finally getting around to getting some hits. So I got him in our the Triple Players Ball League, and everything's going pretty well so far. He's batting .364. He's got a home run. He's got 2 RBIs. He has 3 games against the Cleveland Guardians this weekend, so I'm loving that matchup for him. He's missing their bigger arms, and he's only 34% rostered. And when you go to his StatCast page, I mean, blood red across. I mean, max exit velocity, 94th percentile. His xWOB was in the 90th percentile. I know this is super early, but from what we saw from Joey Bart last year, everyone's got to be super excited about this. And last but not least, my boy, Matt Manning, who's actually not my boy. I think he's, up until this point, I've been completely staying away from him. But what I saw him do against Boston, 6 innings pitched. He only had 2 Ks, but only 1 earned run. He got to the quality start. And this is for the deepest of leagues. He's only 5% rostered in Yahoo leagues, and he's going against Kansas City. So outside of your boy, Bobby Witt, there's not too much there. So I really like that matchup for him.
Is that a homer pick?
No. No, it's not a homer pick because I like the matchup. I love it for deep leagues. But I will say this with Manning. I was very excited to see him do well against a good offense, which is something I don't think I've ever been able to say.
Yeah, that Tigers pitching between Skubal, who's looked awful, Casey Mize has still looked lost. He definitely looks like the best of the 3 right now. But
and when Scott Jenstad asked me, he's like, of any of those guys, do you want any of them? I said, no, I haven't drafted any of them, and I will not.
Yeah. It's only 2 strikeouts for Manning, too, so we'll have to see how he does in that start. Toby has a comment. You might want to see about me bringing in a tweet called David's Daily Dinger. Have people comment who think will homer with a pick of his own. It's not a bad idea either. Toby's coming in hot with some good ideas tonight.
He's the ideas guy. We need him in on the next brainstorming session.
We do, yeah. Like our brainstorming sessions are legendary. So we'll have to get Toby in on that. All right. Let's get now to the last part of the night. Stuff you guys always know with Triple Play that we do here. Starting with the question of the week. And of course, we are sponsored by OddsJam. OddsJam is one of the best sites if you're looking to get the best betting odds from across the interwebs. Puts it all in one place for you, where you're going to be able to find the best, easiest ways to make bets, basically win free money. I love OddsJam. We've been using OddsJam now for the past month, and they definitely will help you with your bets. They find the best ones out there for you. So
Take it from a betting guy himself.
Yeah, check out oddsjam.com. Marty, go ahead. What is our question of the week this week?
Yes, thank you. So the question of the week, I thought this one's actually pretty cool. Which active or retired player has the coolest customized cleats in baseball?
Ooh.
So the coolest customized cleats. So I'll start. I'll go first here. I'm going to start here with a current player, McGill Rojas for the Miami Marlins, aka Miggy. Not only is he like one of the coolest guys in baseball, he does a great job on the Rose rotation. But his like amount of cleats he has that are customized are absolutely incredible. It fills up a whole room in his house, and his actual what do we do? Anyway, yeah. So Miguel Rojas, he has some Air Jordan ones that are the Miami Vice colors. So like hot pink and that turquoise blue. He just has a bunch of them, and he's sponsored by Air Jordan as well. So he does a bunch of cool stuff there. So cool. Definitely for me.
I like that. Toby's Marty's Mashers for homers, Art's Arms for pitchers, and then the Doc's Patience.
I like it.
The Doc's Patience one I think needs to stick for sure. You should write up the ILs, Eric, and then we'll literally call it Doc's Patience. I'm actually genuinely serious. I know it's more work for you and less for me, but that's why I'm more behind it too. Honestly.
Toby, stop.
No, I like it.
You're giving David too many ideas.
MLB custom cleats. I'm trying to remember someone.
All right,
had some.
Here, go to me because I have two guys. All right, so one, Robbie Cano has Dragon Ball Z cleats. So
that's the winner.
We all love Dragon Ball Z in our childhood. It's Goku on the cleats, but DD Gregorius has some Scrooge McDuck cleats.
Really?
Yeah. So. And it's the classic Scrooge McDuck face where he's like kind of like pondering like that, and he has a wand. I just saw those and I was like, these you can't top these two.
Wow,
that's a good answer.
I still like the Dragon Ball Z ones.
It sucks Robbie Cano's a cheater. I mean, like those cleats are great.
I like Bryce Harper. I know has the Green Monster cleats for being like the Philadelphia or not the Green Monster, the Philly Fanatic in a cleat. Like he had that on there.
Mike Clevenger has Jimi Hendrix cleats, which are pretty cool.
I like Derek Holland had Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood cleats. He was pitching for Pittsburgh last year. Yeah. And Mr. Rogers is from Pittsburgh. So he had this like really awesome Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood cleats. And I kind of thought that it should be brought up that Ken Griffey Jr. had shoes that were really popular, just like basketball players.
The Griffeys
that are really the
Griffeys,
yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about Derek Holland twice on this pod. What is wrong with
I know, isn't that weird?
Is he a friend of the pod? We need to get him on here.
I don't know.
We can get Derek on. Let's get a hold of him.
He'd be a great guest. All right, let's get to the last part of the night as we're getting up to our hour mark here. That's going to be our game of the week, hosted also by Mr. Marty Tallman.
Good, he can't win this week.
All right, take it away, Marty.
That was absolutely incredible. So thank you for that intro. So these questions are going to be about college degrees and Major League Baseball players.
All right, yes. I feel good about this.
So earning your college degree in Major League Baseball, going, as you'll see, not necessarily hand in hand, but let's see what you guys know or do not know in this case. So we're going to start with Tony La Russa, the Chicago White Sox manager, obviously legendary manager. He has a college degree. What did Tony La Russa earn his degree in? Is it 1, biology, 2, history, 3, law, or 4, economics? And David, I'm going to start with you.
I'm going to say law. I feel like he looks like a lawyer.
Doc.
I'm stuck between two. He seems like an old school history guy.
History. All right. Art.
History was my first instinct, so I'm going to go history as well.
If it's econ, I'll be mad.
It's not
Me too.
econ. It is law.
Whoa!
Oh,
David
I
got
know
it
a
right.
lawyer when I see one. I can
see. I mean, he has the smug look on his face. You know, that little. I can see it. All right.
I think also because when he was trying to plea with the police officers when he got arrested, I think I remember him like, saying things.
He was reading his own Miranda rights to himself.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Okay, number 2.
Or Toby's playing too. He guessed econ, so I'm beating all of you guys so far.
Okay. What kind of degree did Curtis Granderson earn at the University of Illinois, Chicago? Which degree did Curtis Granderson earn at the University of Illinois, Chicago? Is it number 1, music, 2, business, 3, communications, or 4, English? We're going to be starting this time with you, Doc. Is it music, business, communications, or English for Mr. Curtis Granderson?
I'm going to go music because if you got a communications or English degree, he seems smarter than to get a BS one like that. Sorry if that offends anyone.
All right. Sorry, listeners.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Art, what do you got?
I'm going to go communications because I think he might have a broadcasting aspirations after.
Because he has done that.
So communication.
He's broadcasted a lot.
Communications would be the right path for that.
D. Mendy, what do you think?
I was first thinking business, but I think Art's right. Like I think him, like I know he's done some commentating and like just talk. He seems like a very well-spoken person, and I feel like he would want to be in front of a camera rather than like running business. I'm gonna say communications, and Toby's guessing business. He's guessing what I originally was gonna guess.
Money is the motivation, and that's what gets Curtis Granderson business, baby. He's
I should have stuck with business.
He's a businessman.
Yeah.
I love Curtis Granderson. Shout out to him. He's the man. Okay, Matt Carpenter. You know him. You love him. He actually earned his college degree from TCU. What did he earn it in? Is it 1, communications, 2, biology, 3, health science, or 4, food and nutrition? D. Mendy, starting with you. No, I think no, wait. Maybe
I think start with Art.
Art.
This time.
Sorry, Art.
Damn, I was gonna just let that slide.
So you get that. So Matt Carpenter, communications, biology, health science, or food and nutrition?
Health sciences.
Health science. Okay. D. Mendy.
I'm gonna say food and nutrition.
Doc.
I'm going food and nutrition as well.
He's a communications guy.
You put it twice.
Yep. He is a communications man.
Toby got it at the last second. Toby's got 2.
Toby's got 2. D. Mendy's got 1, and you got Art. And
they
Doc
both got
0.
Eggs.
All right. So
Toby's not allowed to win.
I'm gonna make sure I win. Don't worry.
And we only have 5 altogether. So you guys got to pull it together here soon. So as of 2020, how many active players in Major League Baseball had a college degree? As of 2020, how many active players in Major League Baseball had a college degree? Is it 1, 25, 2, 55, 3, 72, or 4, 112? Starting with you, D. Mendy. 25, 55, 72, or 112?
I'm going to say 112. I think it's more than people realize.
Going 72.
72. Art.
So 105, 72. What were the
112.
It'll be it's 25, 55, 72, 112.
I'm going to say 55.
With 55, that is the incorrect answer. It is number 1. 25 players who actively play have their college degree.
Wow.
So you got to think of all the international players, the players that don't ever, go through 4 years of college. So it's actually pretty alarming, I thought. I would have assumed more. But
Toby
yeah,
got that
only
one wrong.
25. Haha, I'm just kidding. All right,
Toby, block him on Twitter.
Toby, don't block me. You know I love you. But okay, this is the last one, and you can only either tie David or David, you can continue to win here. What are the most popular majors for college baseball players? Okay, so the most popular majors for college baseball players, is it number 1, business, 2, political science, 3, economics, or 4, history? Business, political science, economics, or history?
Poli-sci.
Okay. Art?
Business.
David?
Those were the two I was debating between. I'm going to say I'm going to say business as well.
Business? Are you sure? Is that your final answer?
No, political science. Political science.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You should have stuck with your gut. It is business.
Oh, Jesus.
You have tied Art.
He totally registered you on that one.
And Toby picked. I would see if I knew Toby was going to pick political science, then I would have gone to business. I would have made sure I picked something different than him.
All right, so nobody wins.
12.8% of students.
Technically, Toby gets the win because Toby. That's for you, Toby. You got the win. Nice job. I'll take the win on the panel. Did you guys didn't get any right?
I got the last
one right.
Art got, yeah.
Oh, you're
I
right.
got
You're
one.
right. So our night tied. Technically, Toby gets the win.
Has David ever won a game outright, or does he just split
I've
wins?
won. You got a 0, so I don't know why you're trying to brag about right now.
Whoa, David! Don't make me pull up the sheet the intern has. All right, we're
You didn't
definitely
finish.
beating
You
you in
didn't
game.
finish the amount of wins, so it's okay. I came on later on, so it's okay. All right. On that note, we're gonna wrap up the week 1 episode of the TPF pod here. Now that we're in season, it's a ton of great baseball talk. Always fun talking with you three. Please make sure if you enjoy the content and you guys listen on the podcast, you guys give us a 5-star rating and review. Make sure you subscribe to the pod. We appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Leave a comment below. I know these 3 gentlemen worked extremely hard making their graphics, getting the information needed for you guys. So please make sure, reward their hard work, subscribe, and give us a little comment below. And make sure you guys tune in, because going forward, every single Thursday evening around 8 or 9 o'clock, we're going to be here. We're going to be going through all this every single week with you guys. And we're going to make sure you can win your fantasy leagues outright, no matter what. That's what we're here for. We're here for you guys. So thanks again for watching. Till next week, Marty Party, LC, Doc, enjoy watching your baseball games. We're going to be watching some, and we're going to make like a bread truck, and we're going to haul these buns. Catch you guys next week.